consoles launched. 3 really if you count the Game Boy Advance, which we'll get to shortly. Let's start with the original Xbox. What was a kind of joke that turned into a, not a joke to Microsoft, but Seamus Blackley, a gentleman who worked at Looking Glass at one point, was the designer on a infamous for the wrong reasons game called Trespasser, but also sort of a hardware genius. Got a team together at Microsoft, and they very quietly created the Direct Xbox, which came to be known and launched as the Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft is such a stalwart in the video game scene now that it's sort of easy to forget that this was like they were not one of the people that made consoles. No. It was like
Nintendo,
Sega, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft sort of muscled their way in there. And people are like, man, I don't know, like. You don't know, in hindsight now, yeah, the Xbox a modest success, the 360 a huge success, and now Microsoft's here to stay. But at the time, other companies like Panasonic, there'd been all kinds of companies that had tried to make it into the console space and just completely had sort of epic flameouts. So it was really sort of, man, how is this going to go? It was pre-Xbox Live, pre a lot of the things that would define the console.
Yeah, and it was this interesting period where by then, the Dreamcast had sort of floundered.
Yeah.
Like everyone knew that this was going to be what people assumed was a 2-console race with the PS2, which launched the year before, and then with what was, I guess, codenamed Dolphin, which was the GameCube, which we're going to talk about. But yeah, I feel like the Xbox did something very different when it came out, but it also came out of the gate very strange.
It had that hard drive. It was just a different console.
Yeah. First console to ever include a hard drive built in. Yeah. Phil Spencer has since quoted here on our shows saying, Halo, as we knew it, would not have been Halo had that hard drive not been there to help, with the physical, technical design of that game. And, Halo is, of course, the reason that we're all even still sitting here talking about an Xbox. Yeah. Because the Xbox probably would have failed without Halo.
Yeah, those launch titles are so important, and if the Xbox had not had Halo, I don't think it would have had much.
The rest of its launch is kind of crummy.
I'll go through the list for you here real quick because this is a treat. See how many of these you remember. I'll bet it's not very many. 4x4 Evo 2.
Sure.
Is that one? How many games is that? Is that one game?
Air Force Delta Storm, Arctic Thunder, Cell Damage, that's CEL, Cell Damage, Dark Summit, Dead or Alive 3, that was good, Fusion Frenzy, kind of infamous for sort of the wrong reasons as well, not the best party game, Halo, then Mad Dash Racing. We had 2 football games, Madden NFL 2002 and Microsoft's own NFL Fever 2002.
Remember when other people were able to make football games?
I do remember that. That was an interesting time. Nice. NASCAR Heat 2002, NASCAR Thunder 2002.
What? Why do you need 2 NASCAR games at a launch?
And 2 football games. NHL Hits 2002 for some arcadey hockey action. Couple of good ones. The other good ones probably besides Halo. Oddworld Munch's Odyssey, which was a big deal at the time. Yeah. Project Gotham Racing, which came to be a fantastic racing series. Rest in peace.
I miss PGR.
I do too. It sort of lives on in Forza Horizon now, thankfully. But anyway, Shrek, Test Drive Off-Road Wide Open, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X, and Trans World Surf. That is your quantity over quality.
Sports and Halo.
Yeah, those are some launch games. All right.
Yeah. Shooters and sports games, which is kind of what the Xbox was for a little while.
I mean, I think Halo is the best. I don't think there's been a launch game as
Killer
good as Halo. Yeah, I mean, that's part of those.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue like Mario 64, Mario World, but in terms of like importance to the console or its ability to make or break the console, I think absolutely Halo is hugely important.
And really, go ahead.
I mean, like the Xbox itself, it was almost kind of an accident. Not an accident isn't the right word, but they
didn't know.
Like the path that Halo took is really interesting and strange. Starting as a Mac game,
correct?
And it wasn't
as
even
a strategy game, no less.
As a Mac strategy game, and then getting bought by Microsoft and being a PC game, and then eventually making its way onto the Xbox launch. Like very strange sort of twists and turns that game took to become the classic that it is today.
As recently as E3 of 2001. People didn't realize that nobody knew that was going to be the game that was going to change everything, but. Of course, many a split screen and system link Halo match would follow for subsequent years. The Xbox also famous for its original controller, which became known as the Duke.
Yeah.
That big old giant controller.
It's a real ugly boy.
You needed some hands for that.
I don't know, Ryan, I don't know how you feel about this. I'm a Duke defender. I like it except for the black and white buttons.
And that was the problem. You couldn't reach them.
Yeah.
It's so big. How can you possibly like it? You don't have that big of hands. He has small hands.
I do have a little bit.
Carny hands.
It's true. I'm the opposite of Alex Roth with his banana hands.
No, the Controller S started shipping. The Controller S was the smaller revision, had the black and white buttons underneath the 4 face buttons. Came in 2002, debuted in Japan for the Japanese market, and they went, maybe we should bring that over here. And then very quickly the Duke went away. In fact, now it's even kind of tough to find the Duke.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to dig a little deep to find it.
We have a golden one in our podcast room.
That is true, as a trophy.
Yeah.
If you want to hear some interesting stories about the Duke controller, by the way, I have an interview with Seamus Blackley. This is a shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Look up Podcast Unlocked 201 on YouTube, and it's an hour and a half of old Xbox stories. Another thing that the original Xbox had besides the hard drive and Halo, an Ethernet port.
Yeah.
Every console shipped with an Ethernet port in it. That had never happened before.
Forward thinking, no Xbox Live yet, but they were already sort of making plans. They recognized that this internet's not going away.
That was the dial-up era still.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's absolutely true. When the original Xbox came out, I was still on dial-up actually. So.
And now it's hard to imagine a system without connection to the internet. That's basically what everything rides upon
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Yeah, you'd be like, what? This doesn't connect to the internet?
Yeah.
These Microsoft folks, they really understand computers.
The other fun fact about the hard drive, so it was an 8 gig hard drive. Later they used a 10 gig, although 8 was really the only usable space. But strangely, if you went into the system, the dashboard, it was, well, not the dashboard, the underlying,
the OS,
what was called the dashboard then. It was measured in blocks and not megabytes.
And
it didn't match up to anything.
Wasn't it like 50,000 blocks and mine never left 50,000?
50,000 plus.
Yeah.
It just never went below that because game saves only took.
So did you get one at launch?
No, I was still a big PC gamer at the time. I got a GameCube at launch, but didn't come to the Xbox until I graduated from college and got an interview at Official Xbox Magazine to try and break into this as a career. And when they were like, okay, we want to fly you out for an interview, I went, I guess I got to go buy one of these things now. And I bought Halo and started in with it. And
did you also interview at Nintendo Power?
I didn't.
Oh, that'd have been cool.
Two roads diverged in a wood.
Which path have you chosen? But yeah, I mean, the Xbox ended up selling 24 million units worldwide, 16 of those in North America.
Respectable. Not an overwhelming success, but enough for Microsoft to build on, and have what I would categorize as an overwhelming success with the 360.
Especially not an overwhelming success when you look at the PS2 numbers, which were massive.
Well, and the fact that Microsoft lost money on literally every Xbox they sold from day one, and then of course as they cut the price, they continued to lose money. But it was by design. That was the weird thing. It was specifically they were gonna eat it because Microsoft had almost literally endless amounts of money. They were kind of like Apple now. In order to just get that foot in the door in the living room, I guess I could say.
Interesting. That system never got a redesign either.
Nope.
Don't think about it.
It was always
That's like the only system I can think of, at least of that era and then beyond, that never had a different color. It was always just that black thing with a scary green. It was real heavy.
Yeah,
big machine. Fun fact, the Xbox did support HD, but very, very few games used it. There were a couple of games that you could enable 720p on.
Oh, wow.
But all of them you could, if you had the component cable and a TV, you could do 480p. So that was always, at OXM we would fight for, we had one HD TV, but of course it was a 4.3.
Sure.
But so who'd get to play Halo on the 480p TV? So they wouldn't have the interlacing to deal with to be able to shoot you from across the map.
Yeah, that's awesome.
On Blood Gulch. Yeah. But yeah, Xbox was good times, and it paved the way for, of course, the 360, which we'll get to in a few weeks on History of Awesome 2005.
Yeah, that's true. You and I are both on that one. This might be the exact same group.
It is literally the exact same group.
Well, you'll see us then.